The WWE Universe just witnessed something absolutely explosive that nobody saw coming, and the shockwaves are still reverberating through every corner of professional wrestling as Roman Reigns and CM Punk have done the unthinkable by joining forces in what could be the most surprising alliance in recent memory. If you're not subscribed yet, you need to hit that button right now because you don't want to miss a single moment of what's happening in WWE right now. The tension had been building for weeks leading up to Survivor Series, and everyone thought they knew exactly how this story would play out, but WWE pulled off one of the most stunning swerves in years when the Tribal Chief and the best in the world stood side by side. This isn't just another random tag team or a temporary partnership born out of convenience, but rather a calculated strategic move that has completely shifted the entire landscape of WWE heading into one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. The implications of this alliance are staggering, and the fallout is going to be felt for months to come. To understand why this moment is so significant, you have to look at the history between these two men and the paths they've walked throughout their careers. Roman Reigns has been the undisputed powerhouse of WWE for years now, holding the championship with an iron grip and building an empire around himself with the bloodline. His dominance has been absolute, and his reign of terror has left a trail of defeated opponents in his wake. Meanwhile, CM Punk returned to WWE after a nearly decade-long absence, and his comeback has been nothing short of phenomenal as he's proven that he hasn't lost a single step and remains one of the most dangerous competitors on the roster. The two men seem destined to collide rather than collaborate given their strong personalities and their individual quests for supremacy. Roman has always operated with a family-first mentality, surrounding himself with loyalty and blood, while Punk has been the lone wolf who trusts nobody and relies solely on his own abilities. These contrasting philosophies made the idea of them working together seem almost impossible, which is exactly why this alliance has sent shockwaves throughout the entire wrestling world. The events leading up to Survivor Series created the perfect storm for this unexpected partnership to form. Both men found themselves facing common enemies who threatened their individual positions at the top of the WWE hierarchy. The landscape had become increasingly hostile, with various factions and superstars gunning for their spots, and it became clear that even the most dominant forces sometimes need to adapt to survive. What nobody expected was that adaptation would come in the form of these two titans uniting their strength. The night everything changed will go down in history as one of the most shocking episodes of WWE programming ever. The show had been building toward what everyone assumed would be a confrontation between various teams vying for supremacy at Survivor Series. Roman Reigns was scheduled to address the WWE Universe about his team's strategy, and CM Punk was also advertised to appear separately to discuss his own plans for the event. The stage was set for business as usual, but WWE had something completely different in mind. Roman came out first, accompanied by members of the bloodline, and the arena was electric with anticipation. The Tribal Chief took his time getting to the ring, soaking in the mixture of cheers and jeers from the crowd as only he can. He grabbed a microphone and began speaking about legacy and about how Survivor Series has always been about proving who truly runs WWE. His words were carefully chosen and measured as he talked about the importance of making smart decisions and understanding when the landscape requires new strategies. Just as Roman was building to what seemed like his main point, the arena suddenly went dark and the familiar sound of CM Punk's entrance music hit the speakers. The crowd erupted in a deafening roar as Punk emerged from behind the curtain with that confident smirk on his face. The confusion was evident on everyone's faces, including those watching at home, because nobody could figure out what was happening. Was Punk there to challenge Roman? Was this going to be a confrontation that would lead to a match? Punk walked down the ramp with purpose, his eyes locked on Roman Reigns, who stood in the center of the ring watching him approach. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife, and you could feel the anticipation building with every step Punk took. He climbed into the ring, and the two men stood face to face, neither one backing down or showing any sign of intimidation. For several long seconds they just stared at each other, and the entire WWE Universe held its collective breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Then something completely unexpected occurred. Roman extended his hand toward Punk, and the camera zoomed in to capture every detail of this moment. Punk looked at the offered hand, then back up at Roman's face as if trying to read his intentions. The crowd was going absolutely insane, with some fans cheering wildly while others were shouting in disbelief. After what felt like an eternity, CM Punk reached out and clasped Roman's hand in his own, and the two men shook hands in the middle of the ring. But it wasn't just a handshake, and it quickly became clear that this was something much bigger. Roman raised Punk's arm in the air, and Punk returned the gesture as the two men stood united before the WWE Universe. The implications of what everyone was witnessing began to sink in, and the reaction from the crowd was a mixture of shock, excitement, and complete bewilderment. Social media instantly exploded, with fans trying to process what they had just seen, and the wrestling world went into overdrive trying to figure out what this meant. Roman took the microphone again and explained that in WWE you either evolve or you get left behind. He talked about recognizing greatness when he sees it, and about understanding that sometimes the smartest move is to align yourself with someone who shares your vision for dominance. He called CM Punk one of the best to ever step foot in a WWE ring, and said that together they would be absolutely unstoppable heading into Survivor Series and beyond. The tribal chief made it clear that this wasn't about friendship or sentimentality but about power and about maintaining their positions at the very top of the industry. CM Punk grabbed the microphone next and his words were equally calculated and powerful. He acknowledged that he never thought he would stand side by side with Roman Reigns, but he also admitted that he respects what Roman has built and the level of dominance he's maintained. Punk said that he returned to WWE to prove he's still the best in the world, and sometimes that means making alliances that serve your ultimate goals. He made it clear that this partnership was built on mutual respect and mutual benefit rather than any kind of subservience or hierarchy. The formation of this alliance immediately changed everything about the Survivor Series landscape. Teams that were preparing to face either Roman or Punk separately now had to contend with the reality that they would be dealing with both men working together. The combined star power, skill and strategic thinking of these two legends created a scenario where they became the odds-on favorites to dominate the entire event. Other superstars who had been confident in their chances suddenly found themselves reassessing their strategies and wondering how anyone could possibly overcome this kind of power. The reactions from other WWE superstars came quickly, and they ranged from disbelief to anger to fear. Several top stars cut promos expressing their shock at the alliance and questioning whether Roman and Punk could actually work together given their egos and their individual desires to be the absolute best. Some competitors saw this as an unfair advantage and called for WWE management to intervene, while others viewed it as a challenge and vowed to prove that even this dream team could be beaten. The entire roster was forced to react to this seismic shift in the power structure. The WWE Universe itself was split right down the middle on how to feel about this development. Some fans absolutely loved it and saw it as a dream pairing that would create incredible moments and matches. These supporters argued that seeing two of the biggest stars in wrestling history join forces was exactly the kind of bold storytelling that makes WWE must-watch television. They were excited about the possibilities and couldn't wait to see what Roman and Punk would accomplish together. On the other side, there were fans who hated the alliance and felt that it went against everything both men had stood for throughout their careers. These critics pointed out that Punk had always been about going against the system and standing alone, while Roman had built his legacy on family loyalty. They argued that this partnership felt forced and that it undermined the individual characters that fans had invested in for so long. The debate raged across social media platforms with passionate arguments on both sides. The strategic implications of this alliance cannot be overstated when looking at the bigger picture of WWE's landscape. Roman Reigns brings his unmatched physical dominance, his experience as a champion, and his ability to control matches through sheer power and intimidation. CM Punk contributes his technical excellence, his psychological warfare expertise, and his ability to outsmart opponents at every turn. Together they cover virtually every base, and their combined wrestling IQ makes them incredibly dangerous to face. Their partnership also sends a clear message to the rest of the locker room that nobody is safe and that the old rules no longer apply. If Roman Reigns and CM Punk can put aside their differences and work together, then anything is possible in WWE right now. This creates an environment of uncertainty where longtime rivals might become temporary allies and where everyone has to constantly watch their backs because the alliances can shift at any moment. The build-up to Survivor Series has now become even more intense as everyone waits to see how this partnership will function in actual competition. Will Roman and Punk be able to coexist in high-pressure situations, or will their egos eventually clash and tear the alliance apart from within? These questions add layers of intrigue to every appearance they make together, and fans are analyzing every interaction looking for signs of tension or solidarity. Behind-the-scenes reports suggest that this storyline has been in the works for weeks but was kept incredibly secret, with only a handful of people knowing what was planned. WWE wanted to create a genuine shock moment, and they succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. The creative team reportedly worked closely with both Roman and Punk to ensure that the alliance made sense within their character arcs and that it would lead to compelling television moving forward. The merchandise implications alone are massive, as WWE immediately began producing items featuring both superstars together. The marketing department has been working overtime to capitalize on the buzz surrounding this alliance, and early sales figures suggest that fans are eager to own a piece of this historic moment. From t-shirts to commemorative posters, the WWE shop has been flooded with new items celebrating the partnership between the tribal chief and the best in the world. Looking at the competition they will face at Survivor Series, the challenges are still significant despite their combined power. Other teams have started forming their own alliances in response, trying to create coalitions that can match the firepower of Roman and Punk. The tag team division has been thrown into chaos as established partnerships wonder whether they should team up with other duos to create super teams of their own. The entire event has taken on a war-like atmosphere, with everyone picking sides and preparing for battle. The promos and face-offs in the weeks since the alliance was announced have been absolutely electric. Roman and Punk have appeared together on multiple occasions, cutting promos that showcase their chemistry and their unified vision. Their verbal exchanges with opponents have been sharp and cutting, with both men taking turns destroying their rivals on the microphone. The back and forth has elevated the anticipation for Survivor Series to incredible heights. What makes this alliance particularly interesting is how it affects the bloodline dynamic. the other members of Roman's family faction have had to adjust to having an outsider in their midst. CM Punk is not blood and he doesn't share their history, yet he has been accepted into their inner circle because Roman has decreed it. This has created some fascinating tension within the group as members navigate their loyalty to the tribal chief while also dealing with their uncertainty about Punk's intentions. The training footage and behind-the-scenes content that WWE has released shows Roman and Punk working together, preparing their strategies and building their in-ring chemistry. These glimpses into their preparation have only increased fan interest as people want to see every aspect of how this partnership operates. The production team has done an excellent job of documenting this alliance and making it feel like a major event in WWE history. From a competitive standpoint, the combination of their finishing moves and signature maneuvers creates a devastating arsenal. Roman's spear combined with Punk's GTS gives them multiple ways to end matches decisively. Their submission expertise with Roman's guillotine choke and Punk's anaconda vice means they can make opponents tap out. The versatility in their offense makes them incredibly difficult to prepare for because they can attack from so many different angles. The psychological warfare aspect cannot be ignored either because both men are masters at getting inside their opponents' heads. Roman's intimidating presence and his ability to make opponents doubt themselves pairs perfectly with Punk's trash-talking and mind games. Together they create a mental pressure that wears down their rivals before the physical battle even begins. This psychological edge might be their greatest weapon heading into Survivor Series. The legacy implications of this alliance are profound because both men are already guaranteed Hall of Famers who will be remembered as all-time greats. How they are remembered together though will depend on what they accomplish during this partnership. If they dominate Survivor Series and continue their run of success, then this alliance will be talked about for decades as one of the most formidable pairings in wrestling history. If it falls apart quickly, then it will be remembered as a fascinating experiment that didn't quite work out. The storytelling possibilities moving forward are virtually endless because WWE has opened up so many potential directions. Will they remain allies long-term, or is there a betrayal waiting down the road? Will other superstars eventually find a way to exploit weaknesses in their partnership? Could this lead to even bigger alliances forming as the roster splits into different factions? Every question creates new opportunities for compelling television, and that's exactly what WWE wants. The international reaction to this alliance has been just as strong as the domestic response, with fans around the world weighing in on social media. Wrestling communities in every country have been discussing the implications and debating whether this is good or bad for WWE programming. The global reach of this storyline shows just how significant it is and how it has captured the imagination of wrestling fans everywhere. As Survivor Series approaches, the intensity continues to build with each passing week. Every appearance by Roman and Punk together adds new layers to their dynamic and gives fans more to analyze and discuss. The anticipation for their matches has reached fever pitch levels and ticket sales for the event have skyrocketed. WWE has successfully created must-see television and the payoff promises to be spectacular. The alliance between Roman Reigns and CM Punk represents exactly the kind of bold creative decision that keeps WWE fresh and unpredictable. By bringing together two of the biggest stars in the industry and creating a partnership that nobody saw coming, WWE has reminded everyone why they are the leaders in sports entertainment. This is the kind of moment that creates lifelong fans and that people will remember years from now when they talk about the greatest storylines in wrestling history. Make sure you stay subscribed because what happens next is going to be absolutely incredible and you don't want to miss a single second of how this story unfolds.